how most people listen when someone else is expressing their opinion or what they think about something is the question in our head is, well, what do I think about that? Right? So they're answering a question in our head, we're answering it as well. Or we're listening to what they're saying and going, do I agree with that? Do I agree with that? I don't know if I agree with that. I think I disagree with that. So we tend to have in our heads the question, do I agree with that? Is he right? Is he wrong? Do I disagree with that? And that is literally how we're listening, or another way of saying it is what we're listening for. So we're listening for, do we agree? We're listening for if we disagree. Now, Michelle, just as a side note, this is one of the reasons why women hate it when men talk about their opinions. Because if we disagree with them, it's causing a disconnect. Mm-hmm. I call it the opinion cliff. We're getting pushed off the opinion cliff. And if we're disagreeing with them and they keep talking, it's like a kind of torture. We want them just to shut up already, right? And if we agree with them, then we think, oh, good, we're going to connect. And we'll interrupt them to say, I agree with you. And they'll look at us like, so? And we'll have a disconnect instead of a connect. So disagree or agree, I actually recommend what you practice over the Man Panel Summit. If you take it into your life, it will totally transform what you hear from men, what it's like to do that, and what they start telling you. That's what changed my life the most, was learning how to listen to them. Okay, let me break it down. So remember the two parts? Yeah. How do they form an opinion? What's one part?
Facts.
Yeah.
Information and values.
Yes, facts and values. And facts come from?
Information.
Information from?
A trusted source.
A trusted source. Yes. So this gives you two different things you can listen for. So as a man's expressing his opinion, you can listen for, who does he trust? What are his trusted sources of information? So is he quoting scientific research? Is he quoting world leaders? Is he quoting historical figures? Right? Is he quoting what was, in the Wall Street Journal or in Mother's Jones magazine? Sort of opposite ends, right? So you can listen for who does he trust? What are his trusted sources of information? Can I tell you a little story about this?
Yes, please.
So my husband was talking about something, and it was so hard to listen to him because I disagreed with him. Like big disagreed with him. Mm-hmm. And then I shifted to listening to the second part, to listening to his values. So what matters to him? What's important to him? What does he care about? So those are three questions I recommend writing down, because that'll have you listen to what he values. What matters to him? What's important to him? What does he care about? So I was listening to Greg's values, and I confirmed why I married him. Even though I was disagreeing with his opinion, his values make my life a dream. I married the man, right? And the man is his values. So at the end of it, though, I felt, as a matter of integrity, I said, I love who you are and what you stand for, and I need you to know I completely disagree with your opinion. Mm-hmm. And he's like, why? And I said, I don't trust the same sources of information that you do. Mm-hmm. His mouth dropped. He said, well, what's not to trust about the Wall Street Journal? I said, well, I think their agenda's right there in the headline. And he started laughing. He goes, well, what sources do you trust? And, Miss Heaven on Earth, right? World that works for everyone. You could tell he was waiting for, what he would think of like an innocent answer, right? A visionary answer. And my answer was, I don't trust anyone. Everybody twists statistics to their own purpose. I don't trust any source of statistics. His eyes got so big. I mean, we'd been married for 20 years at that point, and he just found out something really important about his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I offer it to you that as you listen to the sources of information they trust, you're going to learn a lot about who this person is. And you may find out that you're very aligned, or you may find out like, whoa, we really come at this from different places altogether. And if you can just know that that's part of what you're hearing, you'll be better in reality. So a lot of our relationships don't work because we're just not interacting with what is there. We're interacting with what we think should be there, right? Mm-hmm. So when a man is telling you his opinions, he's revealing his trusted sources. That's what is there. Then you're listening for values. What matters to him? What does he care about? What's important to him? Oh my gosh, this is how you see a man's soul. This is how you find out who they really are. And even if you disagree with their conclusion, or you wouldn't have acted the way that they acted, or you wouldn't give that kind of advice, when you see where they're coming from, now you're on the right track to understanding who these human beings are as a gender and who they are individually. And that's when it becomes profound. Now, Michelle, if you had a live audience, or I was coaching women and having live conversations, I would tell you to wait for the well. So listen longer. Because normally what happens is when a man pauses, or if he doesn't answer fast enough, we start talking. But the really juicy stuff is down at the bottom of the well, and he may have to go to the well many times. And as he's going to the well to see if he has anything else to say about that, we actually have to just be quiet. It's best just to wait. And we encourage women literally to count to 30.
Wow.
And most answers come in at between 18 and 23 seconds. Now, I have actually had a man answer me 2 days later. So, it will be well rewarded if you can actually wait. Anything else is a question we teach men to ask women. Okay. Because she's emptying her basket and she has all these things to say, and we teach them to go, anything else? Right? But we teach them to, when she stops talking, pause for a beat. You don't want to run over what she's saying. Then in the next beat, say, anything else? Now, to most women, that sounds like, I love you and you're the most fascinating person in the world and I could listen to you for hours, which has our hearts go, ah! Right? We're like, he asked me anything else. Oh my gosh, anything else? It's like, he showed interest, which makes us feel safe.
Right.
Now, we also teach men to find out from the women in their lives, what are their favorite questions to be asked? And women have all kinds of different questions that they love to be asked, right? How are your grandchildren? What did you learn lately? Do you have any trips planned, right? We like to be asked about our passions. These days, people are asking me about my tractor. I'm so tan because of how many hours I've spent on my tractor. But I ask men, because we've taught, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many we've taught, how to interact with women more effectively. I've taught all these men about favorite questions, and then I've asked men, so what's your favorite question? You know what the answer is? Mm-mm. No questions.
No questions. Yeah, I believe it.
Their favorite question is no questions.
Yeah.
So with my son, for example, when we talk on the phone or when I see him, I say, is there anything you want me to know? And then I put the imaginary duct tape over my mouth and I just listen and listen and listen. And I wait a really long time. And sometimes he'll go, no, I'm good. Or he'll start talking about something that really matters to him. But I just have to wait, and I have to give this big playing field, which may be something that you try with the panel tomorrow, is when all the questions that they wanted to answer have been answered, to give them an open playground. So is there anything that you want us to know that we didn't give you the question to answer? And then just wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
In our courses, we ask the question, if you could say something that every woman in the world heard and took to heart, what would you say?
Beautiful question.
Oh my gosh, stunning question. It was actually contributed by a woman in Wisconsin in 1995. She asked that question.